Good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, even though this is mandatory, to attend this training seminar. We here at Ready to Learn are beyond appreciative of what our management team, that is you, has been able to do in such a short time in business. We are going through swift changes. One major change is our growth and expansion. But for us to be on top, we have to hire and train top-notch individuals. This is why I'm here today. It has come to our attention that our corporate training program is all over the place. Now, I'm not saying it is ineffective, but we would like to consolidate into a few methods so that we can truly be effective with the time we are given with each trainee. I will lay out and discuss these methods throughout this video. If you look over my left and right shoulder, you'll see some teleprompters. These are the same images that you see in the bottom left and right of your computer screen. Feel free to stop and ask me questions. I'm not here just to talk, but I want to have a discussion. I'm going to be going over traditional training methods, 5 in particular. But first, what are traditional training methods? Traditional training methods require an instructor or facilitator and involve face-to-face interaction between trainees. Kind of like what we're doing. I do have a group sitting behind the computer. These traditional training methods can be divided into 3 broad categories: presentation, hands-on, and group building. Each one of these can be divided into several other methods, but I will only be discussing 5 of these methods. We feel that these 5 will be the most effective for our company and most effective for our trainees. Here are the 5 methods: lecture or standard lecture, hands-on method, mainly OJT or on-the-job training, self-directed learning, simulations, and role play. I'm going to give you a brief description of each one. Let me start by explaining what a lecture is. In a lecture, trainers communicate through spoken words what they want the trainee to learn. This is what I'm currently doing for you all. It is the most popular training method, even with all this new technology, Skype, and etc. coming out. It is the least expensive and least time-consuming way to conduct business. That's what companies like. There are a few variations of lecture. Standard lecture, which I'm doing now. Team teaching. 2 or more trainees present different ideas or alternative views of the same topic. And a guest speaker. I guess I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Am I permitted to say that still? A speaker or speaker visits for a session during a predetermined time period. Now, what is the hands-on method? Hands-on methods require trainees to be actively involved in learning. I am mainly concerned with on-the-job training, or OJT for short. Refers to the new or inexperienced employees learning in the work setting and during work by observing peers or managers performing the job, then trying to imitate their behavior. Monkey see, monkey do. I will only be primarily discussing and concerned with OJT because it is the second most used training tool in our repertoire here at Ready to Learn. The one thing that must be understood is better if OJT is informal and not too formal. Now, what is self-directed learning? Self-directed learning has employees take responsibility for all aspects of learning, including when it is conducted and who will be involved. Trainees master predetermined training content at their own pace, usually on a computer or in a book without an instructor, which, by the way, each of you have been assigned this type of training to complete after this lecture is over. What is a simulation? A simulation is a training method that represents a real-life situation with trainee decisions resulting in outcomes that would mirror what would happen on the job. A great example of this is the use of in-flight simulators for pilots flying. This allows trainees to see the impact of their decision in an artificial, risk-free environment and used to teach production and process skills as well as management of interpersonal skills. Now, what is role play? Role play can be completed in a small 2 or 3 person group of trainees that play different roles, or several trainees can volunteer to role play while the other ones are being observed, and the outcomes depend on the emotional or subjective reactions of the trainees, as well as the ones playing the role and the ones watching. Now, why are these methods valuable in transferring learning? Learning is valuable since I am explaining what I want you all, fellow managers, to know. There's no ambiguity. I know what I want you to learn, and you know exactly what I am saying. On-the-job training can be useful in training newly hired employees, upgrading experienced employee skills when new technology is introduced, cross-training employees within a department or work unit. It's hands-on. Self-directed learning. It will weed out unmotivated employees. Since motivation is key to success, it will also allow trainees to learn at their own pace. Fewer trainers and cost less. Win-win for everybody. A simulation. The benefit of this is it will permit trainees to mess up in a safe environment and not pack real-world operations. It will allow the trainee to learn from what they did wrong and use the lesson learned in real-life situations. Role play will give the trainees who are watching and playing different options. It will allow emotions and style to come into play, so where the trainee can see for themselves and come up with a credible solution. As you can see, I laid out several different options, and these are the ones that I want us to focus on as we hire new individuals, as we grow, so that we can be effective, a lean, mean fighting machine in this ready-to-learn environment. Now, is there any questions? Anyone? Thank you for your time.